When we were children, my mother, Mrs. Grace Cook, made the world of spirit, the inner world of light, very real to us. Every night, before we went to bed, she would sing one of the old Lyceum songs that used to comfort her so much after she, as a child, had lost her mother. Night after night she would sing to us, hand in hand with angels, through the world we go, brighter eyes are on us than we blind ones know. Tenderer voices cheer us than we deaf will own. Never, walking heavenward, can we walk alone. We were constantly reminded at difficult times in our childhood of the loving care of a guardian angel or of a beautiful teacher who was there to help and inspire us in our work. I can truly say that we had a most blessed childhood because my mother herself was so close to the world of spirit. Her life was spent helping those who were bereaved, especially those who had tragically lost loved ones in the First World War. She herself had been brought up to live hand in hand with angels, and she was continually trying to help us to realize the closeness of the world of light. I can remember as a tiny child walking with her through the park, and I became aware of the little fairy beings in the flowers. I talked about them to her in a most natural way, and she was very matter-of-fact about it. She didn't either encourage or discourage. She just accepted it as a fact that I was aware of these little beings. As we grew older, she helped us whenever we had to face an ordeal. She encouraged us to attune ourselves to the great light of the Spirit and to feel the help of the angels and of wise people who would draw close to help us. I remember as a child being very frightened of the dark, and again she would help me to have courage by talking about the beautiful angel who was there, holding my hand, leading me through the darkness. And she used to assure us that nothing could hurt us, that angel wings were always around us, protecting us. And we found this sense of protection most helpful when, during the Second World War, we found ourselves alone in the London branch of the White Eagle Lodge during one of the worst nights of the Blitz. The air raid siren went about 9 o'clock at night, and almost immediately the explosions started and continued throughout the night until about 5 o'clock in the morning. There was a continual barrage of noise and explosions and the roar of aeroplanes. And my sister and I were very frightened because at that time there was little air raid protection in the lodge. We'd only just moved there. She got under the desk in the office and I was under the upturned armchair, and we just didn't dare to move. Every moment we thought our end was coming. But suddenly, I had the most wonderful feeling of wings all round me. I thought of White Eagle and his beautiful strength and protection. and it seemed as if he had wings, and these great wings were round us. Just at the same moment, Ilana said to me, "You know, it's strange, but I feel that White Eagle has got wings, and they're round us." The sensation was so real and strong that I can even remember smelling the feathers of these lovely protective wings. And although the barrage and the noise went on, somehow we just felt secure under these lovely wings. This was specially helpful and remarkable, as at that time the memory of the bombing of the old original lodge was still very close. It had only happened 6 months ago, and we were barely established in the new lodge. But this experience gave us both an even greater realization of the wonderful presence of White Eagle, and his great love and strength and wisdom, which guided the work of the lodge through the ensuing years. Working with my father and mother, who were known to so many as Minister and Brother Faithful, we saw many, many people, broken-hearted souls, sick people, helped and restored by the beautiful work of these two, who through their wonderful faith and their contact with the world of spirit were able to raise people's minds above the heaviness of the earth, above the tragedy of their individual lives. Naturally, as my father and mother grew older, we wondered how the work would carry on without them. I will confess that I had many little moments of fear and anxiety about the future. When Minister was drawing near the end of her earthly life, several times she said to us most earnestly, "Please, please never let me see you crying and grieving over my dead body. It will make me so unhappy." When her passing came, I can honestly say that it was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. Both my sister and I were aware of the stillness and the beauty of the angel presences with her. Her physical body was brought into our little chapel at Newlands to await the cremation. And as soon as it was placed in front of the altar, my sister and I just went and sat quietly in the chapel. And never will I forget the beauty and the joy, the illumination of that experience as she came to us both, radiant in spirit, but so human. And her words, "It all true," still ring in our ears. For obviously, as she woke up in that world of light, she was made so joyously aware of the reality of that wonderful inner world which she had tried to teach people about when she was in her physical body. She soon made it clear to us that now she was free from her failing physical body, she could be much more active in the work than she had been able to be for a number of years. She was strong and vibrant in spirit, and many of the little White Eagle groups, meeting all over the country, all over the world, felt her presence and had little demonstrations, little human proofs of her presence with them and her help. Throughout her life, she tried to help people to understand the difference between a demonstration of psychic force from the astral world and the real inner contact of the spirit with the spirit of a loved one. Through the years, she has been teaching the family of the White Eagle Lodge to enter the world of light in meditation, to build a bridge between the earth plane and the world of spirit, so that the people in the world of light could make the contact which they long to do. White Eagle often used to tell us that the door into the world of spirit is on our side, and until we open the door, they can do nothing. Indeed, if we allow ourselves to sink down under a dark cloud of grief and sorrow and longing, it is impossible for our dear ones in spirit to get through this cloud. But if with courage and selflessness we try to look up into the great spiritual sun, if we go in our hearts right into that beautiful light, they can come to meet us, and we shall feel their presence, not in the head mind, but deep, deep in our hearts. Minesta herself gave me a most beautiful demonstration of how this spiritual contact is made, and it's such a simple thing. It was Mother's Day, and I suddenly had a feeling of sadness, like I could no longer take her a bunch of flowers and a card as we used to do on Mother's Day. And I felt tempted to give way to a little grief, and suddenly I knew that this was wrong, and that I could give her a gift for Mother's Day. So I quietly sat down and tried to picture a beautiful rose that I was going to give her for her garden. I visualized this rose. I visualized planting it in the garden and watched the sun shining on it and a beautiful deep red rose opening out in the sunlight, full of fragrance. And when I had thought it through to this lovely blooming rose, I said to her in my heart, "Mummy dear, this is my Mother's Day gift to you. I hope that its perfume makes you think of my love for you." This gave me such a feeling of warmth and happiness in my heart that I went on my way singing and got on with everyday work and thought no more about it. But 2 days later, a little package arrived by post, and in the package was a handmade lavender bag, very fragrant, sent by a friend who had written, "I can't think why I had to do this, but suddenly I felt that Minesta wanted me to send you this lavender bag and to tell you that she wanted its fragrance to remind you of her love which always enfolds you." Now, not a soul knew about my giving her that Mother's Day gift, not another soul. So this was for me a very real proof of the way in which you can make contact with a loved one in a world of spirit. And another thing it showed me was how important it is if you feel a loving impulse, an impulse to do something kind, something loving and gentle that is going to bring happiness to another soul. Do it. Don't let that moment pass by, because it may well be that someone in the world of spirit, or even an angel, or the great healer himself, may be inspiring you to do that kindness. This is the way we open ourselves to the world of light. It is the way we learn to walk hand in hand with angels. And so shall we now, just for a few minutes, think with great love of our own dear one in the world of light. Let us make them happy by rejoicing with them in the freedom and beauty of the heavenly garden, the garden of reunion where we can be with them. It is always there, a most beautiful garden in the world of spirit. Let us now picture a sunlit garden, your own garden if you like, because you know we all have a garden in the world of light, a garden something like our own beloved garden on earth, but so much more beautiful. It is what we create in the soul world, the garden to which we can withdraw when we go to sleep at night, and where we can hold communion with those we love. And so, in the lovely sunlight of the inner world, let us imagine that we are in a rose garden. Imagine it not with your mind, but deep, deep in your heart. Feel in your heart your great love for the one who has left the body and is now in the world of light. They are close beside you, opening your vision to this warm, sunlit garden. You are sitting together on a white seat with roses growing all round. Look up into the sunshine. Feel that warm sunlight penetrating your whole being, helping you to let go of all the weariness of the earth, all sadness. You and your beloved one in spirit are sitting side by side, so close. You are enjoying the fragrance of the roses. Gently breathe that fragrance which is enveloping you. Listen to the birds singing all around. Hear the music of the wind in the trees. We are holding the hand of our loved one as together we gaze into a beautiful rose which is growing close by. Together we breathe in this fragrance. It is enfolding us. For a few minutes, let us now be silent and feel deep in our hearts the true joy of communion in spirit. If your loved one should be a little child, hold that child to your heart. Hold your loved one to your heart. Feel as if the petals of the rose are growing all around you, enfolding, protecting you both. As you feel the warmth of that wonderful love of the Spirit. As your heart opens to this heavenly communion, Minister and White Eagle want me to assure you that they will help you. You are not struggling alone to make this spiritual contact. It will take practice. It will take perseverance. But, my dear, do not be discouraged if at first you don't seem to feel very much. Just keep on, keeping on, very lovingly, trying to rise in spirit out of grief and self-pity. Immediately, that sadness comes over you. Train yourself to look up into the sunshine. Keep on, keeping on, trying, my dear. Not with your mind. Your mind is going to do all it can to persuade you that there's nothing in it. But your heart, which is full of love, which is full of joy at your loved one's release into the world of light, your heart will open and help you to become more and more aware of the garden of reunion and of the way in which you can walk hand in hand with your loved one. And often, as you train yourself to do this, your loved one will be able to help and inspire you in your everyday problems. Don't try to hold them down and expect them to do everything for you. Remember always that the handle of the door is on your side and that you must build a bridge by rising in spirit out of all the earthliness of the physical life. Quiet breathing, quiet, peaceful looking into the sun and loving. This is the key. This is the key to the door of the inner world, and it will help you to make a contact which will transform your life, and it will help your loved one to do the work which has been given to him or her to help you to open your heart and mind to the vision of eternal life, the majesty of that eternal life which is before every one of us. God bless you, my dear. God bless you and help you. Try to realize that when you want to commune with your loved one in spirit, you have to learn to function in your body of light. You see, we all have a physical body, but also we have a body of light, and it is that body of light which survives death. Your loved one no longer has a physical body, and so it is difficult, indeed it is impossible, for them to reach you at the physical level. So you have to learn to rise in spirit, so that you are functioning in your body of light. And then the contact between you can grow bright and strong. We know how hard it is to miss the beloved physical body which we long to touch. But do try to remember that your loved one is just the same dear husband, wife, mother, father, child, brother, sister, friend that you love so deeply. Love is not touched by the loss of the physical body. It becomes warmer, truer, deeper, and more understanding of your need than ever before. But remember, the handle of the door is on your side. And if you would learn to hold true and sweet communion with your loved one, which you can do, you must train yourself wisely and beautifully to open the door to that inner world. Now, you're not going to do this in any way through your outer mind, through the mind in your head, the mind that you use in your everyday life. You will only do it through the mind in your heart. In your heart is the door into that world of light. For within your heart burns the flame, the spirit. And this flame of the spirit is part of your great love for your dear one in the world of spirit. And in love, there can be no separation. So you have to train yourself to put behind you all grief, all sadness, all resentment at the loss of the physical body, and firmly turn your face to that glorious spiritual sun which shines in that inner world which you will reach through your true love, which is like a shining flame in your heart. And that true love will express itself in joy at the release of your dear one from all the heaviness and weariness of the flesh. Your loved one still loves you, my dear, and longs to draw close and to commune with you. Think how sad they are if they see you enveloped in a heavy cloud of grief like a pea soup of fog, which is just what happens when you allow your thoughts to dwell on sadness and loneliness, and when they go round and round in sorrow and remorse for things that you can do nothing about now. Yes, you can do something about them, because even if your heart is sad, remembering loving actions which you feel you failed to do while your dear one was in the body, you can make up for it. You can make up for it by selfless rejoicing now in their freedom, by opening your heart in love to them and asking them in your heart to forgive you and to help you to understand more and more of the true meaning of love. Of course you long for their presence, for the physical pressure of their hand. But try to realize, my dear, that the physical loss is really a gift to you from an all-wise, all-loving Father, Mother God. When a much-loved soul passes into the world of light, it means that the one left on earth has an opportunity to build a bridge between the two worlds. Their love from the world of spirit shines down into your heart. And if you will open your heart to that love and try to focus all your attention on God's love, God's light, which is just like a glorious sun shining down upon you both, you will open the door in your heart, which will lead you to a bridge of light, across which you can pass into the beautiful garden of reunion. Never think that this true and beautiful communion in spirit will hold your loved one back. It will give them the greatest possible joy. Because if you will build a bridge and go towards them, they can come and meet you and lift you for a little while into their world. They can help you to open your understanding to spiritual reality. And then, when you are asleep at night, you will be able to go together to the temple of wisdom. You will go forward together. And when you return to your earthly life in the morning, you will bring with you something of the peace, something of the wisdom which you have shared. And so, let us now start to build the bridge through quiet meditation. Just make sure that you are sitting quite comfortably. Try to sit so that you are well balanced with your spine as erect as you can comfortably manage. If necessary, place cushions so that your spine is beautifully straight. Remember that the spine is a channel of light, and its straightness, its uprightness, will help you to make the spiritual contact you long for. Now, with your spine straight, relax your shoulders. Just let them go. And gently stretch the back of your neck. Try to feel as if the top of your head is just being linked by a line of light right into the heaven world. Feel that line of light pouring down through the top of your head, and it will help you to relax your shoulders. Feel all the load of earthliness just melting away in this lovely light which is pouring down. Let the load of earthly troubles just melt away. You're going to forget all about them for a little while. Try to imagine that you are sitting looking at a beautiful still lake or sea, and across the water the sun is rising. Watch the sun as it slowly, steadily rises, and try to breathe a little more slowly, a little more deeply, but so peacefully and easily. Feel that with every breath you are breathing in the rays of that lovely shining sun. With each breath you are becoming filled with light, till every cell of your body is growing radiant with sunlight. You are beginning to function in your body of light, so that you will be able to meet your loved one. And now that glorious sun has risen above the water and is making across it a path of light which reaches right to your heart. Keep looking peacefully and easily into that glorious sunlight. And now see a figure of light, an angel coming towards you. The angel takes your hand and leads you along that path of light, right across the water. In your body of light, you can walk on the water. You are rising right above all the sadness. You are spirit. You are going into the world of spirit, into the heart of the sun. As you move towards the light, you see a lovely archway round the sun, leading through the sun. Just go forward right into the sun, through the archway. And you will find yourself in a beautiful garden. And there, your own dear one, waiting. Just open your arms and your heart and feel the warm embrace of your loved one. The warm hand clasp. If it is a child, feel the little figure rush towards you and throw their arms round your neck. Heart to heart, you breathe together. The flame in your heart unites with the flame in theirs. You are one. One in that heavenly warmth and light. Then, hand in hand, you walk through the garden. The garden that is so dear and familiar in this land of the sun. Now, together, stroll across the soft green grass. Smell the fragrance of the air filled with the scent of many blossoms. For the sun is bringing out the fragrance of the flowers and the herbs and the trees. If it is a child that you are loving and walking with them, feel them pulling you eagerly to their own little part of the garden, which is a child's paradise. And let them show you how they play with the gnomes and how they learn to know the spirit of the trees, how they are taught to create and build with their hands and with their thought. Oh, the children have such a wonderfully happy time in the world of light. And remember, my dear, that you are never cut off from your child. You will be learning with them. You are with them when you are asleep at night. And for older people, there is that joy of true and deep communion of mind and spirit, as together you share the loveliness of the garden, as you enjoy all these sights and sounds which brought you so much joy sharing on earth. Sit together on the white seat in the rose garden. All around you, the roses are blooming, roses of every shape and colour. There is one growing close beside you. share its fragrance. Feel that you are breathing together, breathing as one, and that you are enfolded in the fragrance of the rose. Be still, quite still in spirit, in this heart of God's garden, your garden. Be still and know, love. And now together you are being led, you are feeling the call to go to the temple of healing, the temple of the sun, where you can work together to serve others who are suffering. Those people you know personally, those you love, all suffering people. Always the work of healing goes on in this temple, and part of your loved one's work will be here. It is here that you can join them, even in your daily life, as you train yourself to withdraw into the inner world and to send out light, that flame, that divine flame of love, of light, of God, to suffering people. Now, once again, we look right into the heart of the sun as we go into this beautiful temple. Use your creative power, your imagination, the creative power of your higher mind, and see in the heart of the sun the healing temple. See the great pillars at the entrance, two lovely shining angel forms, so still, so radiant, so strong. Together you mount the steps of the temple, hand in hand, and as you go through the entrance, the angels ask you for the password, and your hearts, your united heart, radiates love, love, love for each other, love for all the world. And you find yourself in the temple, in the presence of the great healer, the one who is all love. As simple children, kneel before him, her, and feel the peace, the blessing enfolding you both. Feel the healing of that seamless dress of light and love. Just breathe in that heavenly peace and love. And now in your thoughts, draw into this heavenly presence any dear ones who you long to help. Name them now in your heart and see them with you, enfolded in the light of this heavenly presence of the great healer. You will become aware gradually of the glorious winged beings, the angels of healing, who serve at his command. Gradually you will begin to hear the music of their song of praise, the music of all creation, the birds and the trees and the wind and the waves. All this is part of this song of the angels, their song of praise and thanksgiving for life, for eternal life. There is no death. All is life. All is progress. So, be comforted. Be at peace. And return to the work of your earthly life, filled with joy. Now, peacefully, just come back into the garden. Once again, just enjoy it with your dear one. And now you must come back very firmly into the earth consciousness. But you can bring with you in your heart that beautiful rose which you have shared with your dear one in spirit. Feel the rose now blooming in your heart. And once again, just gently breathe its fragrance. And now, very firmly, come back into your physical consciousness. Begin to use the mind in your head. Become conscious of your breathing. Very steadily and calmly, breathe deeply and easily, and as you do so, become aware of every part of your physical body. Your feet, your toes, your legs, your hands. Just make sure that you are bringing well into action your mind of every day. This is important because when you go into that world of light, you are learning to use a different aspect of your consciousness, that part of you which White Eagle calls the mind in the heart. With practice, you will be able to do this more and more. But always, after doing so, you must very positively transfer your consciousness from deep within your heart back to the everyday mind. Now, quite firmly, and with your everyday mind working clearly and brightly, we are going to seal those psychic centers which have been brought into activity, rather like flowers coming into bloom, while you have been functioning in your body of light. Now, will you visualize at each of these psychic centers a shining cross, like a silver cross which is reflecting sunlight? A silver cross within a circle of light. Now, see this cross of light encircled by light on the crown of your head. Visualize it clearly. Now on your brow, the cross of light encircled by light. On your throat, the cross of light encircled by light. And on that center, right in the middle of your breast, the heart center, the cross of light encircled by light. At the solar plexus, the cross of light encircled by light. At the spleen, which is just at the back of the waist on the left-hand side, the cross of light, encircled by light, and now at the base of the spine, see the cross of light, encircled by light. Now, quietly breathe a little more deeply, and with every in-breathing, feel that you are drawing the light up through your left foot, right up to the top of your head. And then as you breathe out, see the light coming down the right side to complete the circuit. Make this oval of light round your whole body, quietly and peacefully, 7 times on the sevenfold breath. You are building around your whole being a protective shield of light. You are encircled with light, and your normal, everyday consciousness is now in full control. Bring your mind quite firmly back now to practical matters, but go quietly and peacefully. Don't just rush up and rush out. Go steadily. Remember that you have your life to live on the earth plane, but gradually you are going to learn to transfer your consciousness at will to that mind in the heart, where you can enter the door into the world of light. Remember that both you and your loved one can benefit from these sacred times of communion. Keep them sacred, these times of meditation when you go into the world of light. But also remember that you can commune in thought, so that often it's just like picking up the telephone, and you will learn to be very aware of the thoughts and ideas of your loved one in spirit. Although he or she will be active with his own concerns, just as when he or she was on earth, they had their own interests, so they have in the world of light. But this wonderful communion which you can hold is an eternal reality for which we thank and praise our beloved Father, Mother, God.